We are talking with Scott Kellen from SixCentSports.com and Dave Golikoff, senior sports columnist from AskMen.com, previewing the wildcard round of the NFL playoffs here on the SBR TV NFL Experts Roundtable. All right, now let's just get to the Pittsburgh-Denver game. Now this game, I'm so tempted to take Denver +9. You know, Pittsburgh is pretty banged up. It's tough to go on the road in Denver and get a double-digit win. Pittsburgh, of course, are they going to be motivated to get a huge win? I don't know. Are they capable of getting a huge win? I don't know. What's Tebow's performance likely to be? I don't know. I'd love to take a correlated 10-point teaser here, maybe Denver +19 and tease the under down to 24, but I think I'd get booted if I tried that with any book that allows it. Dave, what's your read on this game?
I actually like Denver. You know, I'll start with the theory or the theoretical analysis here. You know, this game just reminds me of the Saints-Seahawks wild card weekend game last year. You know, the Seahawks backed their way into the playoffs. They were playing awful, 7-9. You know, won the NFC West. Going into that game, we all talked about how badly the Seahawks were outscored. And, you know, look at the Denver Broncos. They actually, you know, they're right there with the 2010 Seahawks with among the worst point differentials ever for a playoff team. So there's some analogies there. They're at home. They're going to be fired up. They had a brutal effort last week. Now you get into the scientific stuff. I mean, you're asking the Steelers to cover double digits against a decent team with a bad quarterback on the road. But you look at what they did in Kansas City. I believe it was about a month ago. Tyler Palko started that game. Is he really better than Tim Tebow? I don't think so. I think Denver, I don't want to say wins that game. I know I said Carolina would win last week. They didn't. But I think Denver can definitely cover this number. And I wouldn't be surprised, as I tweeted earlier this week, if they actually won that game outright.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the thing is that kind of the kicker for this for me is how banged up Pittsburgh is. You know, if they're planning on making a deep run in the playoffs, they're definitely not going to be motivated to get any kind of a dominant win here. They're just going to looking to get in and get out. Scott Kellen, what do you think? You think Denver +9 is an awesome play?
No, I kind of like Pittsburgh in this game. If I'm going to play anything. For a couple reasons. I make the number about 7 to 9 points. So the number I think is roughly fair. Pittsburgh qualifies in a pretty good situation for me that just plays on very, very strong defensive teams, and that's measured by points allowed, which is a very strong play in the first round of the playoffs. They give up less than 17 points a game. There's more parameters to that, but essentially very, very strong defensive teams in the first round of the playoffs perform pretty well, so they qualify there. The caveats here are really three things, I think. Number one, like you guys have said, Pittsburgh is banged up. They're banged up bad, and who knows how that's going to play out. Number two, they have not performed well on the road at all this year. They barely won any games by more than 7 points this year. I think they won by 12 at Arizona. The third thing here that, and I'll get into why I like Pittsburgh in a second, but I think the one thing you have to worry about if you like Pittsburgh is, and I like them because I think they're going to dominate Tim Tebow. If you watched that game last week, and I had Kansas City, and Kansas City's defense is actually pretty good. Pittsburgh's defense is much better, though, I think. They are going to shut down Tim Tebow. He will not be able to do anything. I guarantee you that. They're not going to allow him to run the ball. He cannot throw the ball. And he's come out and said he needs to be more aggressive. To me, that's just going to lead to turnovers, even though Pittsburgh hasn't been great in creating turnovers this year. But if Tim Tebow plays in this game and he plays the whole game, I don't think this game will be even close. And you look at, Denver, since Tebow has played, they have played two playoff teams. Detroit, that score ended up 45-10, and New England, that score ended up 41-23. If Tebow plays this whole game, Denver will be lucky to score 7 points in this game. I guarantee you that. But I think the caveat that you have to worry about is they could pull Tim Tebow out of this game and play Brady Quinn, and that could throw this whole thing off because Pittsburgh is laying a lot of points in this game. And if they go to Brady Quinn, I don't think Brady Quinn's anything fantastic, but now you're being asked to lay 8 points in this game with a quarterback that at least I think is somewhat serviceable, can throw the ball on him a little bit, and they really haven't probably game planned for that. That could throw this whole thing off. I do not see how they're going to be able to move the ball with Tebow. Teams have figured out how to defend him. Kansas City kept him from running the ball last week, and he could not throw. He's not going to be able to throw against the Steelers. I just don't see Denver staying close. The only other thing I would say here is home dogs in this round have actually performed pretty well, so you have to be a little bit leery of that. And like Dave said with the Seattle game last year against New Orleans, I had Seattle in that game last year. The difference, I think, though, and I thought about that, is I took Seattle because New Orleans on the road was playing horrendously defensively. And Seattle actually, they had a bunch of injuries last year, and they were fairly somewhat healthy in that playoff game. I don't see that same scenario here with Pittsburgh. I think their defense shuts down Tebow.
All right. Well, so maybe a decent way to play this might be take Denver plus the points and then hedge it with a Denver team total under, which should be about 13 or so, and you're likely to win one of them, and you might easily win both of them, or just bet the game live. And if Brady Quinn comes in, quickly adjust your bets accordingly. Great analysis, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see how this turns out, and I'll talk to you next week.